We are being lied to about Classic Plus. The future right now for this quote unquote plus like server is quite unknown. A lot of people feel like it's going to happen in BlizzCon 2026. And we're going to see this, amazing announcement from Blizzard and the development team saying that Classic Plus is coming in a couple months after the BlizzCon announcement. And you'll see it more than likely mid 2026, late 2026, hell, maybe even early 2027. I think it's not going to happen, quite frankly. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope, I can come back to this video one day and be like, you know what? I'm happy I'm wrong. They announced it. Let's see what they have to do now. But I have a feeling they're not, because there's just too much stuff going on in the Blizzard atmosphere right now. When you look at Legion Remix, you look at Anniversary, you look at Classic Mop, you look at Midnight as well, all this stuff is lined up for leading into 2026 with all the versions of WoW that they currently have already. How is it possible they're going to crank out a Classic Plus, let alone a working Classic Plus, come BlizzCon? There's no way. And then on top of taking all the attention away from all these other versions of the game to focus on one version of the game, why would they want to do that and split all the revenues? Now, maybe this is what they are planning. I'm not too sure. But it just doesn't add up in my head. It's not like doing the math, The math is not all there. So I really feel like they are trying to find the right time and right place for this, announcement to come out. But it's not going to happen in 2026, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're going to more than likely see this a little bit later. And more than likely, if anything, 2027. And I think a lot of individuals are going to be also heavily disappointed when Classic Plus comes out, because it's not going to answer everybody's situation. It's not going to please the masses. There's going to be problems with the game. It's not going to be perfect. But at the same time, people are going to want to enjoy it, to see what it has to offer, to see if there's any ounce left of creativity within the Blizzard team to put something out amazing for everybody to enjoy. But there's also caveats with that. And all those ideas that they put in Classic Plus, I myself personally will be monitoring this very close-like, because I want to see what they are taking from other private servers to make their own version of what they want to work on. Because you already know, between me and you, and let's not lie about this, because we know this is the truth, and other content creators, the bigger ones especially as well, will not tell you this shit because they are too involved with Blizzard. But this is the reality. They are going to take a lot of things from private server developers. They are going to rip off so many forms of content that you are seeing already within Turtle WoW and Ascension. Not to say that these private servers are not taking, obviously, the materials from, Blizzard as well. Let's not disagree on that. But in terms of the ideas, a lot of those ideas are going to be taken from these private servers. And you ask yourself, why is that? Because it's free R&D. It's free labor. They don't need to do anything at all. Blizzard doesn't need to hire anybody. They could just copy everything from these servers and then call it their own, because it's their property, right? But I'm very curious to see how they implement that, to see how they do their own thing, because you can even look at Season of Discovery as an example. A lot of people praise Season of Discovery, and I'm one of them because I love SOD. I enjoyed the shit out of it. Even though Season of Discovery had its problems, I was there fighting for Season of Discovery very earlier on to the end as well. And a lot of things within SOD were taken from private servers. The more I'm looking at, especially Ascension, with their rune system and their mystic enchants and how they handle everything, this is all stuff that Season of Discovery straight up stole. The World Forged idea, where there's shinies all around the world, where you find different things, is something how they implemented within their own rune system to let the player find stuff within the phases of Season of Discovery. This is all implementations and copy forms of what Blizzard took from the Ascension developers to implement within Season of Discovery. And you look at Turtle WoW as well, with the tent idea, you look at Karazhan Crypts, you look at Scarlet Enclave, and many more ideas that I'm sure a lot of people can even put in the comments below that was inspired from Turtle WoW, and Blizzard developers saw that and said, you know what, we're going to take and make our own versions of it, right? And by any means necessary, they are allowed to do that, because at the end of the day, this is all their stuff, right? But with that being said, this is what leads me to my heavy concern, especially for Classic Plus, is because I feel like we are going to get a lot of things that are just from the private server world, and they're going to put it in their own way, and Blizzard's going to put it in their own methods of implementing it for, an official player base, and it's going to be half-baked. And it's quite concerning, because you look at companies like Square Enix and Rockstar Games, which they take several development months and years to put out a game that is working and polished. And then you look at Blizzard, which struggles with their own patches and updates for a 20-plus-year-old game. And you think we're going to get something that's going to be coming out called Classic Plus in 2026 on top of several different versions of the game that are currently out right now and continuing on their cycles, especially with retail WoW? I just don't think that's going to happen. I'm sorry. It doesn't make sense. The whole way people are leading me to, especially when they say all this talk about it releasing in 2026, it just sounds like bullshit to me. And I'm telling you right now, it's a lie. If you're seeing any information from either creators or commenters saying that we're getting something in BlizzCon, don't believe it until you see it, is what I'm trying to explain it. If you see it, then you see it. But until then, anything else that comes out saying that it is being released in 2026 is complete cap. There is too much stuff going on right now. How the hell are they going to announce something and then drop it the same time and then say it's going to work with no issues? It's just BS. More than likely, if they were to announce it, it's going to come out in 2027, which means a year and a half of nothing of Classic Plus. Just your typical cycles of everything that you are going through with Anniversary to TBC, more than likely back into Wrath of the Lich King again, and then also with MoP going back into WoD, more than likely they'll talk about that, and maybe another form of a remix that they'll put out yet again. I'm sure of it, more than sure of it. At this point, a Classic Plus, it's just not in the cards, and that's just being real with you, and that's totally okay, because there is other versions of World of Warcraft that you can enjoy. There's private server versions too, and then there's also other games in general. Who would have known, you know? So that's just, the 101 for you guys today, why I feel like we're just being lied to. I just think, people deserve to have some realness in life when it comes to this entire scene, because there's a lot of, false comments out there and, things talking about how we're going to see it coming very soon or it's happening somewhat, at BlizzCon. And I just don't want you to get your hopes up and feel massively disappointed when that time comes. So we'll see what happens in the future until that point. If I'm wrong, I hope I am, and we can go from there and, see what the future is for C+ or whatever they call it. But it is what it is at this point. And I wanted to add this to the video as well because I thought this was a really good topic, and I apologize for the different scenery. I had to put a hoodie on, it was getting a little cold. But I really feel that also when Classic Plus does come out, all of the responsibility and all of the credibility and also the critique falls upon the Classic dev team. Not Activision, not Microsoft, but the dev team in this situation. Because if the game is not developed, working, and it has its problems, or it's just not as plus-like people thought it was going to be, you're going to see a massive, pushback on you guys over there at that Classic dev team. And people are going to be very, very upset. And if anything, they're going to become disinterested if it's not good. And they're going to go back to other era servers, or they're going to just play private servers again. And it's going to go to see where Classic and their, development team, their ideas are based on, whether that is private server ideas or their own unique ideas that they're inspired by talking in the studio and how they want to implement this in a certain way or not. We're going to see what you guys really have to offer to the table, because there is no more hype on Classic Plus. The talk, for the most part, is dead, and a lot of people are just watching videos just to eat whatever crumbs they can find that's left to talk about Classic in general. But everything is relying upon the shoulders of your development team. The hype, the excitement, the creativity, the passion, the expression, everything is all on you guys. No longer on us as the content creators. It's not on the player base. It's on you as the development team. And I really feel like it's very important to nail this and knock it out the park with a grand slam. Because, man, if it doesn't happen, you're already losing players by the daily, as it is, to private servers let alone, and to other games let alone. But you will lose players in the masses if C+ sucks. I would tell you that much right now. And it's not to doom or gloom, but it's just being, the reality of the situation if we are there in that time and the game is just not good. That would be very, very upsetting. But let's keep our hopes up and maybe it will be good. Much love, amigos. Keep on keeping on. All that good stuff. I'm happy to be making videos for you guys still. And I will catch y'all in the next one. Make sure to take your adult vitamins. Supposedly, if you take multiple gummies, Classic Plus will come out 2 months earlier than expected. Hell, it might even come out on my birthday. And then we could shove this right up our ass together. Much love to ya.